is up, guys? So today I will be doing a video on top 10 worst Yu-Gi-Oh cards that inflict damage. So today we're going to be starting with Ancient Gear Explosive. Ancient Gear Explosive is a spell card that you can target one Ancient Gear monster you control, destroy it, and then inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its original attack. Let me just get this straight. There's like 3 Ancient Gear monsters in the game. And you have to have at least one of them, right? And then you tribute it, which, honestly, why would you do that? And then you just inflict damage to your opponent. It honestly, there's no point. Like, I mean, Misfortune is even better, and that doesn't let you do your battle phase that turn at that point, but, honestly, a bad card, and I would never use it. So, the next card we have here is Final Flame. And Final Flame is a very straightforward effect, like some of the cards I'm going to show you today. It just really just inflicts 600 damage to your opponent's life points. And, sorry if the cards are small. I couldn't really get them to work. But, honestly, I mean, this card, I know it's old, but, like, it's just, you just don't use it, man. You really, like, even at this point, you don't. Okay. Next we have Assault Overload. This is just weird. I don't know Assault Mode monsters too much. I know nobody plays them because they're awful. But, here we go. Tribute an Assault Mode monster. Inflict damage to both players equal to its level times 200. First of all, let me get this straight. You tribute a monster, and then both players get hit with the level. It kind of sounds like Ring Destruction, but a slightly worse, like, effect. I mean, the max damage this thing can deal out is 1,200, or actually, 2,400. But, that's not even that good. Like, honestly, that's like level 12. Most of these cards are just pointless because they're so specific. And most of the time, there's cards that works in every deck. I mean, these cards just, they don't fit in with other cards. But, next card we have is Goblin Thief. It's not really a bad card. I was comparing it to something else. So, you know the card, well, you know what? We'll just go to the next one. It'll explain itself. Hinotama. Inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Guess what this does? Inflict 500 damage to your opponent, but you get 500 life points. Which one sounds better, huh? Honestly, like, why did they make 2 separate cards for that? They just have Goblin Thief. It's a waste of paper for Hinotama. Waste of paper. Like this next card I'm going to show you. Well, actually, a couple cards after that. Next. So, we got, if you control a spellcaster type monster, inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each spellcaster type monster you currently control. During the draw phase, if this card is in your graveyard, instead of conducting your normal draw, you can add this card from your graveyard to your hand. But you might be asking, why is this card so bad? It doesn't seem so bad because you can get it to your draw phase. I have 3 reasons. First of all, it deals barely any damage. Max 1,000, minimum 200. It has to be spellcasters too, by the way. You have to get rid of your draw phase you have to get rid of your draw during your draw phase, which honestly is a waste, and nobody wants to do that. So, I mean, you can add it from your graveyard to your hand, but drawing is so important. Like, you need draw power. You really need a lot of draw power in decks with spellcasters, because you need to get a lot of spellcaster. Even to actually activate this card, you have to have a lot of spellcasters in the first place. So how are you going to get them out if you don't draw? Like, I don't know. I just think it's an awful card. Next we have the Revolution. So the effect is inflict 200 points of damage to your opponent's life points for each card in your opponent's hand. I believe there's a way better card than that. That's like 400 for every card in your opponent's hand, but whatever. Still, this card, it just doesn't really, it doesn't work right. It doesn't even. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. It doesn't even. And then everybody's favorite card, Sparks. Everybody loves Sparks. It's the best card in the game. And for all you people who don't know what Sparks does, it inflicts 200 damage to your opponent. I wish I had that card. I mean, it's not like I do or anything. Everybody, back in the day, and I heard that they got Sparks, like, in every box. Every tin that's old, it got Sparks. Like, it is a pointless card. There's no point. You literally, 200 damage to your opponent. What is that gonna do? It's a card. Like, I think the card is actually, like, I forgot where I was going with this. It's like, the card, you know, forget it. It's a bad card. That's all you need to know. Ukazi is, it's not really, let me explain my reasoning behind this. You may think, it's actually a pretty good card. It inflicts 800 damage to your opponent. But the thing is, think about this. 3 of them inflicts 2,400. And with that math, you need 10 of them in order to win. That's like 3 1/3 deck. You need 3 1/3 decks to beat your opponent with these cards. But it just, honestly, there's no point of running Ukazi unless you're running a super burn deck. And even with that, like, if there was some sort of draw power behind this, like you inflict 800 points of damage to your opponent, and then draw 1 card, and if it's like a trap card or whatever, you know, something like that. Something where it has like a downside and upside. But anyway, like, honestly, it just doesn't really, there's no point to run it in your deck if you're, like, just having cards, you know. And our final card, I think, is kind of just a ripoff of what Just Desserts. Thundershort. Thundershort is a card, spell card in fact, that inflicts 400 damage to your opponent for each monster they control. Okay. Think about Just Desserts. The exact text reads, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each monster they control. Now, I understand in this video, a lot of cards are printed to be slightly worse than other cards just because they were, you know, filler cards. They didn't want you to get the best cards every time. They want you to get okay cards, awful cards, terrible cards that shouldn't even be printed, you know. And, but I'm just pointing out the cards that are just awful for burn decks, and nobody should play these cards. Well, unless you really are, like, you have 3 Just Desserts, I guess you could play Thundershort and some other examples, but really, in honesty, you really do not need most of these cards in your deck. So, I'm just going to point out, Sparks, you should totally run 100%. That's, like, the best card in the game. I 100% agree. So, you know, just get that Sparks, and, yeah, you'll be all good. So, anyway, I'm done with this video, so I'll see you next time.